Dolphins fans, before we get today's video started, hit that big red button. You want to know more than your friends when it comes to the Miami Dolphins? This is your one-stop shop for everything Dolphins news and rumors. Best part about it, it's absolutely free, and we're coming to you daily. All you have to do is hit that big red button, and hey, if you're feeling generous, hit the bell right beside it, and you'll get notified of the latest Dolphins news and rumors here on Miami Dolphins Today. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into Miami Dolphins Today. I am your host, RC Maxfield, and some interesting news coming out of camp, and at least rumors are buzzing around a certain wide receiver that has missed a plethora of time during his time in Miami. Of course, I am talking about Preston Williams, and, well, when I say of course, obviously there was some guys, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, who have missed some time. But Preston Williams has been talked about as a potential surprise cut. A guy that was firmly on the roster before training camp started is now on that 53-man roster bubble. You look at what Williams has done in his first couple of years in terms of missing games. Well, he's missed 8 in each of his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Now, he has missed parts of training camp due to injury as well as just being on the COVID-19 reserve list. But this brings his roster spot into question. Looking at what he did last year in 7 games started, 8 games total. He had 35 targets, 18 receptions, 288 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Now, the problem isn't his production when Preston Williams is on the field. It's the fact is, when is he going to be on the field and for how long? Again, 8 games played in both of his first and sophomore seasons in the NFL, but he started 7 games and missed 8 of them. You can't be on this roster in terms of having prolonged success on any NFL roster, let alone the Dolphins, who have a plethora of wide receivers on their current roster that have been proven in terms of production. When they're on the field, you don't need another injury wide receiver on this roster. So looking at it, Devontae Parker came into camp injured, back and practicing now. Will Fuller will be ready for week 2 as he got back into practice earlier. Jalen Waddle now back at, relatively close to 100%. You think about it, Albert Wilson has locked up a spot. I think Hollins has as well, and now Jakeem Grant, that leaves you as your primary punt returner because you don't want to put Jalen Waddle back there. So now, are you going to carry 7 wide receivers into week 1 going up to Foxborough against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots? It brings a huge question mark to Preston Williams and his spot on this roster. But hey, predict the future for me. Will Williams make the Dolphins roster? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm leaning towards no, just because these wide receivers are starting to get healthy for the Miami Dolphins. You think about it. Will Fuller has missed most of training camp. Same with Devontae Parker. They are back now at practice, not going through all of it. Devontae Parker was wearing a red jersey earlier today, while Will Fuller was running through routes and having, activity with Tua and had some really good positive things to say about Tua. But overall, I don't know if Preston Williams is going to be on this roster just from the sheer fact of, do you want to carry 7 guys and a 7th wide receiver that has proven that he can't make it through a full NFL calendar season? Again, 8 games played in each of his first 2 seasons. I just don't know if that's going to cut it, and that could end up making him disposable for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. Bleacher Report had an interesting article about every move, a team should make and their surprises in terms of NFL free agents. And right now, one of them is Rick Wagner, a guy that played up in Green Bay protecting Aaron Rodgers on his front side, on the right side of the football. He started 9 games at right tackle for Green Bay in 2020, played in all 16, and had a pretty solid grade from Pro Football Focus in terms of their grading scale. He graded out at a 77 on 610 snaps and only allowed 1 sack. And now I think this is interesting from the sheer fact that looking at this Dolphins depth chart, there's potential holes there at the left tackle, right tackle position. I really love what Jesse Davis has done at that right tackle position. Liam Eichenberg was really solid against the 2nd unit and 3rd unit of the Falcons in preseason week 2. You did trade for Grant Little, but it was a 7th round pick. Not much there, but Austin Jackson looked a lot better against the Falcons, but still has a little bit of a question mark when it comes to what exactly is he going to be, and also is he going to live up to that top 20 pick in the NFL draft potential that last year he was for the Miami Dolphins. Looking at Rick Wagner, I don't think it would be bad to go out and talk to him, right? We've brought up Russell Okung before and potentially going after him. I know a lot of people in the comments have mentioned Mitchell Schwartz, who I don't know if he's 100% healthy, but I do think Rick Wagner would be an interesting phone call just to see, hey, what are his salary demands? What is he looking for role-wise? Because if he's willing to come in and be a guy on a prove-it deal, I think this is a perfect opportunity for Miami to go out and add a little bit more depth on their offensive line. What you think, though? Where would you rank the Dolphins' offensive line in the NFL, 1 through 32? I know it's a little bit of a difficult question, and it's really been one of the biggest question marks so far in Dolphins preseason and training camp is, can this offensive line protect the franchise quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa? But when I think about it from a whole league perspective, I'm probably going to put them in that 17 to 22 range, probably closer to 22 for the sheer fact that I think the talent's there, right? You have the draft capital investment in terms of Jackson, Hunt, and others on that offensive line, not even including your second-round pick in Eichenberg this year. The draft capital investment is there. It's a bunch of prove-it guys now in terms of can they protect them and mixing and matching on where guys are going to be. But I think this offensive line has a lot of potential, but it all comes back to actually performing on the field. Speaking of performing, you can go perform on chatsports.com/bet and win yourself some money, some cold hard cash. All you got to do is use the promo code Dolphins125 and you get 125% deposit bonus. I'm telling you right now, there's nobody else on the internet doing it like BetUS, All you got to do, chatsports.com/bet. Let's just say I'm not good at math and sometimes not very good at words either, right? But go over there, deposit $100, and you get $125, and you have $225 to play with all season long. I'm still using mine from last season. You need to go over to chatsports.com, use the promo code Dolphins125 to secure your 125% deposit bonus. Speaking of the franchise quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, is he on the verge of a breakout season? I know we've talked about this in previous videos, but I'm starting to even build up a little bit more hype, it feels like, inside of me in terms of I think this could legitimately happen. Just seeing how he's performed in the preseason, all the talk coming out of training camp as well. But the biggest thing for me when it comes to evaluating somebody that will potentially have a breakout at really any position, right, is what are your teammates, the guys going against you every single day, saying about you? And I found this quote from Will Fuller very interesting regarding Tua Tagovailoa. He said, poise, how he is making all the right reads. Fun to watch, to a very accurate quarterback. I love that about him. You know where the ball is going to be. You build that trust and know he's going to put the ball where it needs to be. And now, this is interesting to me for the sheer fact of this. Tua Tagovailoa is an accurate quarterback, right? But Will Fuller is a deep threat. They haven't gotten very many reps just because, again, Will Fuller has been injured a lot of preseason and just, working his way back from a lower body injury. But what we heard yesterday from the first full session of Tua and Will Fuller really going out there and allowing Will Fuller to go on deep routes was unbelievable rave reviews from beat writers, right? I think Tua gets a little knock on his profile in terms of he's not a downfield passer, which to the most part, I would agree. I think he is more of that dink and dunk intermediate type guy. But I also think that Miami in year one didn't provide him with proper weapons, is I guess the way you should probably put that. But now you have a guy who arguably is the best deep threat in the NFL, and Will Fuller coming out and saying he knows where to put the ball deep, talking about Tua Tagovailoa. And the wide receiver position, right, Will Fuller is really the only guy out there right now that is the prototypical, deep threat wide receiver, right? You have Devontae Parker, who is that big guy on the sidelines that can go up and get 50-50s on the sideline. You have Albert Wilson and Jalen Waddle, who are kind of cut from the same cloth in the sense that, hey, they're intermediate guys, one-cut guys, and Jalen Waddle's obviously a little bit more explosive, but they make one cut and they can make somebody miss and take it to the house. Will Fuller is that 9-route guy where you can chunk it deep. He can win a 50-50 ball, but first and foremost, he's just going to beat the CB when it comes down to it. Looking at what Tua has done in the preseason, I think that the deep ball has become a part of his arsenal. You think about it. He had Mike Gesicki on that 50-yard catch and run in Chicago. Another deep ball to Mike Gesicki as well in game 2. Overall, I think Tua is progressing, and the breakout is a real possibility right now. But again, the thing that inspires me the most in saying he's going to have a breakout is his teammates are really high on him, right? You're not going to have guys come out and vouch for their quarterback and say, oh, yeah, I think a breakout's going to happen when he's not performing on and off the field where he needs to, right? Tua Tagovailoa is on the right track. The Dolphins have given him every possible advantage in terms of wide receiver weapons to make this breakout happen. Now, is the offensive line going to make it happen? We shall see. I love the pieces there. They just have to perform, as we mentioned earlier. But Tua Tagovailoa is arguably one of the most talented young quarterbacks in the NFL. It's now prove it time, and I think he does, and that 2021 breakout happens for Tua. But you tell me, will Tua have a breakout season in 2021? You know where I stand. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I am spamming 1 down in the comments, as should you. And if you haven't spammed the subscribe button, I don't know what you're doing at this point in terms of not going and following us on social media. Well, I'm talking about Chat Sports or right here on Miami Dolphins Today, because let's think about it. There's no better place to get your Miami Dolphins news and rumors than right here. It's 100% free here on Miami Dolphins Today.